So today we're going to talk about the conditional tense. In semester 1, we learned the future tense, and thank goodness the future tense is the conditional tense is a lot like the future tense. So we used the conditional tense when we were going to talk about something that would happen in the future. The future tense was will, but the conditional tense often expresses would or should. It is very similar to the future tense. Just like the future tense, the endings attach to the infinitive unless it's irregular, and the endings are the same for AR, ER, and IR verbs. Here's an example. I would take calculus class, but it's hard. Tomaría la clase de cálculo, pero es difícil. Tomaría is a verb in the conditional tense. Here are the conditional endings. Remember, they apply to all AR, ER, and IR verbs, and they attach to the infinitive, just like the future tense. Here are the endings. The yo form, ia, tú form, ias, the usted, el, ella form, ia, nosotros form, iamos, and the ustedes, ellos, ellas form, ian. Sometimes, when we use the conditional, there are phrases that go along with it, just like the preterite and the imperfect. In semester 1, I taught you some of the phrases that go along with the preterite, like ayer and el mes pasado, and in the imperfect, todos los días, and generalmente. In the conditional tense, it's very common to see yo que tú, if I were you, en tu lugar, in your place, and en esa situación, in this situation. So here are some examples with those phrases. En tu lugar, iría a la oficina de la directora. En esa situación, hablaría a la maestra sobre tu nota. Iría and hablaría are the verbs in the conditional tense, and as you can see, the endings are attached to the infinitive. You know there are always irregulars in every grammar point, but good news, the same irregulars in the future tense also apply here. How wonderful! So here are some of the irregular stems for the conditional tense. Caber, to fit. Cabría, cabrías, cabría, cabríamos, cabrían. Do you see how the ending attaches to the stem? Decir, dería, derías, dería, deríamos, derían. Haber, to be. Habría, habrías, habría, habríamos, habrían. Hacer, to do or to make. Haría, harías, haría, haríamos, harían. Poder, podría, podrías, podría, podríamos, podrían. Poner, pondría, pondrías, pondría, pondríamos, pondrían. Hopefully you're seeing the pattern here. Here are some examples of sentences with irregular conditional verbs. En esa situación podría hablar contigo. In this situation, I would be able to speak with you. Podría is the conditional verb. Vendría a la fiesta si tengo tiempo. I would come to the party if I had time. So what I want you to do right now, I would like you to take out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I would like you to write 2 sentences. One sentence should be a sentence with a regular conditional verb, and the other should be an irregular conditional verb. Make sure you do this because after the video, we're going to share them as a class. You might also want to pause the video while you're writing. So we've covered the conditional. We're going to add one more grammar point to the conditional. Imperfect subjunctive. Also, when we use the imperfect subjunctive with the conditional, we call them C clauses. Well, we're going to learn them. What fun! So there's a phrase to help you form the imperfect subjunctive that I came up with. And the phrase is, don't laugh, stop drinking, and start cheerleading. It will all make sense in just a few minutes. So, this is how we form the imperfect subjunctive. Well, before that, I'm going to show you some examples. So here are some examples of the imperfect subjunctive with the conditional. If I had a lot of money, I would buy a car. Si tuviera mucho dinero, compraría un carro. So the imperfect subjunctive is with the conditional. Si yo pudiera, sería una maestra. If I were able, I would be a teacher. So, we form the imperfect subjunctive in 3 steps. the first step is we put the verb in the preterite ustedes form. So, like the verb tener in the preterite ustedes form is tuvieran, they had. Poder, to be able to, pudieran. Ir in the preterite ustedes form, fueran. And recibir in the preterite ustedes form is recibieran. So remember, it's usually aron or ieran for the preterite ustedes form unless it's an irregular. So you should refer back to your the form that said la cucaracha on top of it, that had all of those irregular preterites, if you're a little iffy about some of the preterite ustedes forms. These are the most common ones that we're going to be using while we're studying the imperfect subjunctive. So that's why I included it here. Tuvieran, pudieran, fueran, recibieran are the preterite ustedes form. So that's the first step. Put the verb in the preterite ustedes form. The second step is you take off the ran, so the ran goes away. In Spanish, we know that, that ran means rum. That's why I said stop drinking. That's where it comes from. So you stop drinking. That means you eliminate the ran. So now you just have T-U-V-I-E. You take off the ran. But you're going to add something to it. You're going to add ra, ras, ra, ramos, or ran, depending on your subject. So that's where the cheerleading part comes along, because it sounds like ra, ra, ra. So now instead of tuvieron, you have tuviera. So you could have it would be tuviera, tuvieras, tuviera, tuvieramos, tuvieran. Poder, pudiera, pudieras, pudiera, pudieramos, pudieran. Ir in the preterite in the imperfect subjunctive. Fuera, fueras, fuera, fuéramos, fueran. Hopefully you see the pattern. So, we form the imperfect subjunctive by that's where the stop drinking and start cheerleading comes in. So what I want you to do now is I want you to write a sentence using the imperfect subjunctive with the conditional. So here's my example. Si tuviera mucho dinero, tomaría una vacación. If I had a lot of money, tuviera is the imperfect subjunctive, I would take a vacation. Tomaría una vacación. So in this sentence, I'm combining the imperfect subjunctive, right here, the imperfect subjunctive, with the conditional. It's right here. So, what I want you to do before the video ends is I want you to answer some of these questions. This will help you later, because we're going to play a game where we're asking these questions and you'll have to answer with the conditional tense. The questions I'm asking are, si recibieras una vacación gratis, ¿dónde irías? If you would receive a free vacation, where would you go? You're going to answer using the conditional tense. Si tuvieras $1,000,000, ¿qué comprarías? If you had $1 million, what would you buy? You could answer things like, yo compraría una casa grande, or iría a España. So after the video, I will ask you to present your sentences as proof you watched the video. So make sure you have them ready. Hope this helped you understand the conditional and the imperfect subjunctive. Adios!